YouTube Nation, Mayben TV, aka Me TV, aka I stand alone today. I feel like I stand alone because I'm doing a standalone video. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. It really has. So we might as well get into it today. Now look, I told you guys about 2 weeks ago that video games has been considered as art. And I told you guys, since this report has come out, it's only going to be a matter of time before Fox News gets to it. And what happened? Fox News got to it and blew it all out of proportion. And as usual, I'm staying 10 steps ahead of them. Well, today, all the lies, it ends. All the bullshit, all the smoke and mirrors, it ends today. So we might as well get into it right now. Check this out.
Should the video game Call of Duty get federal funding?
Just kind of get to know them.
False. Already. Call of Duty cannot get federal funding. Only non-profit, educational, or artistic games can get it. It does not fall in it. Commercial successes cannot get this money. It's like Fox is purposely misrepresenting what this grant is about to gain viewership. I mean, seriously, that quick you lost the debate. You know what? Let's keep going so I can destroy more points.
When you think of video games, you do think of Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto and the like. Objection!
Wrong. Already. That's not what I or many of us think when it comes to gaming. That's what you think when it comes to gaming, because those are the games you use the most to smear gaming, alright? That's what it is. You're misleading people into thinking that's the standard or staple when it comes to gaming, which it clearly isn't.
Well, video games are a valid form of art, just like film and music and anything else. I mean, you have basically in the video game development process several artists creating a product that you know, can only be considered art.
Okay. Well, let's bring in Neil. Neil, are video games a valid form of art, and should they get taxpayer dollars? We're talking between $10,000 and $200,000 per grant.
Hey, maybe we should start giving taxpayer money to ping pong players, because some people might think that ping pong is an art.
So you start this off with a backhanded statement saying that ping pong may be art in a negative tone, when it's widely considered ping pong is an Olympic sport. Then you go on to speculate that some people may consider it an art without showing any evidence. Obviously, you're new to this debate.
Hey, look, I was a music major in college, and I love the arts. But when tens of millions of Americans are out of work, there's so much pain and suffering, and there's so much fear and uncertainty about this budget crisis. Our government seems to be stretching the limits of wastefulness, not containing it. You know, so many of these programs, they had lofty goals when they began, like the National Endowment of the Arts, but they have become a perversion of what they were once intended to be.
Perversion, huh? Alright, you can use the hot button word, but you used it a little too fast. See, you pulled your card too fast, and now I gotta call you bluff. Understand this, since you are a music major, alright, let's get down to the nitty gritty now, alright? You should know, in the previous 5 years, government funding for music programs in school have been cut. We've seen it, slowly but surely, we've seen the commercials, save the music, this, that, and the third. And you were right on one thing, the economy is doing really bad. But since the economy is doing so bad, why aren't you talking about something else more important other than this endless witch hunt helping the media with video games? Seriously, this is the same media outlets. Since you're a music major, you should know this. The same media outlets that years ago tried to sit here and say that music isn't an art form. Yes, the same media outlets that you're backing, alright, that want to cut this process out of what's art and what's not. So if you're backing the same media outlets that tried to hold you back, that makes you a hypocrite. End of story.
Does anybody believe that we should be borrowing 43 cents on every dollar to produce video games? I mean, that's absolutely absurd.
Actually, according to the IDC in 2006, $26.6 billion were made for the video game industry worldwide, topping the movie industry. That was in 2006, and every year it gets bigger and bigger. So can you imagine what it is today? See, it almost sounds like you just don't want the video game industry to be noticed as a part of the entertainment industry. You also are supposed to invest in what makes the money right now, and video games are the hot thing right now, so that's what you do. I don't see you making a big complaint about movies and music. No, because it's beating a dead horse. That's why. You're not fooling no one.
Yeah, well, my point is this, is that the silver lining in all of this should be to the American people that there's so much wastefulness going on. So before we start talking about raising everyone's taxes, let's go after all of this wasteful spending. I mean, there's billions of dollars out there. I mean, we're spending money like there's no tomorrow. Maybe there is no tomorrow. Yeah. President Obama wants to raise my taxes to pay for video games? Come on, give me a break.
When in doubt, blame the president to shift the divide for a larger purpose. Look, if you want to talk about wasteful spending, we can easily talk about the dollars spent and the airtime spent for your ridiculous rambling about this issue without any fact checking. See, it's almost like you read the handbook debating for dummies before deciding to come on camera. Seriously, you got to give me a better debate than this.
Take that!
Now, before anybody says that Fox News is stupid, etc. or whatever, no, understand this. They know the rules, regulations, and guidelines to all this stuff, all right? The mediators, moderators, they know all this stuff. The only people who don't are the hosts and the guests. That's what makes them look stupid, all right? So when you see these, when you hear these accusations, it's ridiculous. I'm going to say that now because we're going to destroy this point for point. Every accusation that Foxes give the gaming industry or gamers a bad name, I'm going to knock down. I told you this ends today. So let's get started. Video games is the first one. Video games make you mentally lazy. I have to disagree. All right. Obviously, whoever's saying that, all these people saying that, they've never played an RPG that builds literary skills and decision making. They've never played a strategy game. Seriously, have you ever played a strategy game? If you haven't seen one, go watch the StarCraft tournaments where all those guys are making decisions on top of decisions in mere seconds. Seconds on top of seconds. That's all it is. All right? So don't sit here and say that anyone's mentally lazy. You lose. All right? That's number one. Number two, they want to talk about how video games make you physically lazy.
Hot medical topic right now, Jamie. Those extra pounds on the waistline, don't look at me, are more than a vanity concern. They can also be a sign of a very serious health risk. Dr. David Samadi is a member of our Fox News Medical A team and the vice chair of urology at New York's Mount Sinai Hospital. Doc, let's get right to it. This is a very serious issue.
It is. And also what we want people to know is look at the waistline. And it's very easy to measure this. You look at your height in inches divided by 2, and that should be the waistline. For women, should be less than 35. For men, should be less than 40. I use body mass index in my practice, and that's actually quite helpful. And there are some measures.
Okay. Well, you talk about waistline. Jamie, you fit the bill. I've got some work to do, obviously. So
no,
this is a very important topic for all of us. No, but Kelly, this segment really isn't for you or me.
Hold up. Did you just say this wasn't for you? You listen up, Miss Armflab and co-host Neck Fat. BMI. BMI is for everyone. It measures ideal weight with ideal height. What you showed was an extreme example in that picture, but I'm going to give you a better example and why BMI is technically inaccurate. All right. There are no exceptions. All right? What you have to understand is that, for example, Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player ever, in his prime, in his height and in his weight, were technically overweight. He was technically considered obese. All you athletes, you see football players, basketball players, they are technically obese. If you put on muscle, for example, if you're 5'11" and say you weigh 215 pounds and it's all muscle and you're shredded and ripped and you look healthy, guess what? You're considered obese. That's why this doesn't work. This is why BMI, from a training standpoint, does not work. And for doctors to keep using this as an example, like I said, it's ideal. Ideal, meaning somebody came up and said this will be a standard. It does not work. Understand that. So for you to say it's not for you, you're fucking lying. You are lying and you're in denial. All right? Like I said, you can show an extreme example all you want. I'm going to show you a realistic example. And that's exactly what I've done here. But on top of this, Fox News, they'll tell you, hey, you know, kids, you should get out more because video games make you fat. You should go play sports. And then when the kids go play sports, you go and do this shit.
Cheerleading is not just a vigorous display of team spirit. A new report just out says it is the most dangerous sport for women. Apparently, cheerleading accounts for 2/3 of all catastrophic injuries among female athletes in high school and college. Wow.
Sports-related concussions, 3.8 million per year here in America. And I'm so glad you're talking about it because kids are vulnerable. And once you get one, you're susceptible to another. I'm not a doctor, but I read your notes. And I'm so glad you're bringing this awareness to parents about concussions, Doctor. Great to see you.
Thank you so much.
So first you tell parents that playing video games for children can be detrimental to their health, so they should go out and play sports. Now you're telling them that playing sports is too dangerous. So now you got the parents confused. They're even trying to stop kids from playing tag. Yes, tag. All right? So you got the parents confused and they don't know what to do. Well, parents, if you haven't figured it out yet, I'll tell you exactly what you should do. Stop listening to them. All right? All they're doing is promoting fear. And on top of this, they go around and say that video games are too violent for kids and that it's interactive. No, it's not interactive. What happened this weekend in Philadelphia, this is interactive when it comes to violence. I guess you're going to blame video games for that violence too, huh? Since, you know, you say that violence, it's a direct connection. Violence stems from video games. Look, understand this. The violence and vulgarness in video games are no different than the violence and vulgarness you see in movies and TV shows that Fox produces. It makes them hypocrites. And speaking of being hypocrites, understand this right now, all right? Fox News is owned by Newscorp. Newscorp owns Gamespy, Tattoo, and IGN, which IGN just bought out one up, so they all fall into the same line. Understand this, all right? How else do you think this chick got on TV? Because it sure as hell wasn't for her talent or knowledge about video games.
When the company announced that 40% of all Black Ops players were women, I said, whoa, this is really big, isn't it, Jessica Chobot, host of IGN's Daily Fix? Hi.
Hi, how are you?
So why are women attracted to all this? What's going on?
Well, you know, I think that women in general have gotten more and more on the gaming tip lately, and they're just kind of coming out of the closet now. It's one of those things where not every girl you see is necessarily a casual gamer, and it's not a shame to be a gamer anymore.
Hold it! Hold up, Puss in Boots, I gotta stop you right there. Are you gonna sit here and say that women, female gamers, are all of a sudden ashamed to be gamers? That's bullshit, you're lying. Are you gonna tell me back in the day, I would see groups of women coming into the arcades, getting in pairs, and playing Dance Dance Revolution in unison? You gonna tell me I just all of a sudden imagine that shit? You're a fucking liar, alright? You're a disgrace to your gender, and you're a disgrace to this gaming industry. Look, I don't have time for this. I'm not gonna get on this right now. Female gamers, I got your back. We will save that topic for another day. I have to get back on Fox real quick. Look, Fox and IGN, they're sisters, all right? They fall under the same parent company. So for all you guys who've been telling me time and time again when I do these videos, hey, Event, you do these videos, but we don't see places, and you will point out IGN. You would say, why doesn't IGN go after Fox? Now you know why. Now you know why. You are being duped. Understand this. Fox is creating a situation. You have to understand, controversy creates cash, all right? They're creating a situation so that gamers can get all riled up, so that, you know, misled, jaded parents can get all riled up, and all because you can keep watching them, you can keep commenting towards them, you can keep, it's buy rates, cold hard cash, seriously, views, ratings, it's all the same for them. All right, they create that. Then what does IGN do? You go to IGN, you got 360 versus PS3, which creates another situation where gamers are in the middle again, and they argue and they watch and complain all for what? Views. Understand that you are being used. You're being exploited. That's what this is all about. And then Fox wants to talk about the addiction part of video games. So let's destroy that real quick. Because you keep on saying, you know, video games, you know, they make kids addicts and all this other stuff. That's bullshit. Because as you see, from time and time, as time goes by, it's not even the kids that are addicted that much. Now, it's the parents. If you don't believe me, check this out. Police. Man tried to rob a store with game remote. Yeah. All right, let's get in this right now. This is in St. Petersburg. Cameron Pittman hid the game controller in his pocket and pretended it was a gun as he tried to rob the Sun Food store at 67th Avenue X. All right? It says he was arrested by a police officer who walked in the store in the middle of the robbery. Police said, period. Pittman was suspected in an earlier robbery at Subway restaurant. Police received the tip that Pittman might have been at the store, and so when the officer went inside, he caught Pittman in the middle of the act. Police said, period. It says, police said Pittman dropped the remote and gave up. All right, now he's old enough to know better. That's an adult. Here's another one. 3-year-old killed by mother for throwing away game console. Yeah. On the night of March 30th, little Shinzuku Tanaka was murdered in Osaka. Her feet and hands were bound by tape. It says, and she was stuffed in a garbage bag. The bag was tied shut, and the 3-year-old is now dead. It says, her mother, 26-year-old Yui Tanaka, later told investigators, Shinzuku was being fussy and noisy while we were gaming. Yeah, according to the Nikkei, it says, Tanaka also said that the little girl threw their game machine and other important possessions into the garbage. Even when we scolded her, she didn't listen, said Tanaka, so we put her in the bag. Now, it goes on to say, reports are surfacing that paint Tanaka as a demon mother. Last year, Tanaka apparently wrote online, even if this kid died, I wouldn't cry. All right? Now, we have some gamer testimonials. All right? Let's get into this, because this is something that really needs to be talked about. My dad always plays Call of Duty. And how do I stop him? Not going to happen. We're going to get in this right now. My dad always and only plays Call of Duty every night and afternoon. He says he just won't even try to play any other game. Any attempt ends up resulting in him comparing it to Call of Duty, even if it's not a first-person shooter. It says, my dad's favorite Call of Duty is World of War because he likes the tanks, although he keeps up with the times and only plays Black Ops. It says, he literally just uses the same class loadout as he's been doing so since the first week it came out. And he does this in every Call of Duty. It says he camps in the same corners of the maps and uses the same kill streaks. It's boring as hell to watch him. It says he mainly uses the FAMAS, you know, because of its broken lack of recoil and all. Every Call of Duty always had that ridiculous gun with no recoil. And that's the only gun my dad will use because it enables him to just hold the trigger like a noob. Hold down the trigger like a noob and just hit anything accurately no matter the distance. He says he has no sense of what burst firing is, which is funny considering he used to be in the Army. Alright? It says, if he picks up someone else's gun, and it's not the FAMAS, after using it, he will be criticizing how it's a shit gun, because it's too inaccurate, even though it only requires a bit of tapping when at longer ranges. It says, these are the kinds of people that Bobby Kotick is sucking dry like vampires. The gullible people. I mean, my dad even said that he wouldn't mind a subscription service if it added more stuff. It says, I just facepalm and wonder why he would waste his money for more stuff when he would use the same class loadout all the time anyway. It scares me to think that there are gamers out there like this. I'm sure that there are even Madden equivalents out there too. The worst part is, all my dad talks about is Call of Duty. If he's not comparing it to another game, he's insulting my games. It says, I was playing Nuns 2 and he saw me and said, wow, that's the right load of shit. It says, it needs better graphics like Call of Duty, even though the anime look is the game's art style. He wanted to go and watch Battlefield Los Angeles at the cinema. It says, I asked him why he's interested in that movie since he hasn't been to a cinema in years. And he replied, it kind of reminds me of Call of Duty Zombies with aliens instead. Now, this is a response from another gamer, another testimonial. It says, as someone who has a Call of Duty addicted father, the only advice I can give you is to let him rot in his own filth. There is no hope for him. It says at least he's not blaming you for the lag and constantly asking himself where he went wrong raising you because you don't like Call of Duty. And then there's like a little sad face here. Alright? It says, thank God I moved out of that place. It says, the goddamn bastard can't even call me on my birthday, but doesn't hesitate to call and ask me if there's something wrong with PSN. Look, guys, I told you before, there's no products that make you addictive like that, only addictive personalities. And as you can see, it's affecting parents more than kids. And because it's affecting the parents, it reflects on the kids. Understand what's going on here, all right? So Fox News, your addiction thing, no. Once again, it's been shot down because, like you said, in kids, when it's mostly parents these days, every day, time and time, day after day goes by, we hear more reports about parents having these problems. So this is not, guys, seriously. It's over for them. It's over. Every point today has been destroyed by Fox News. Fox, you have to give me something better than this. You have to, I mean, seriously, every media you have, Geraldo, Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, all those, anybody you throw at me, I can fight against. It does not matter at this point. Because, I mean, seriously, Bill O'Reilly, we know about the sex scandal. We know Geraldo went to Iraq and got pulled because he exposed information about, you know, about some whereabouts. And also, the Al Capone was a controversy when he sat there and was shooting a Tommy gun at the fucking thing at the safe. It was nothing in the bitch for how many hours? He fooled everyone. On top of that, Hannity? What did he do? He has a charity scam right now that he just got caught with. Any way you see it, all your guys that you throw at me that want to speak morals or preach morals, they've done dirt themselves. They don't deserve the right to judge anyone. Understand that. And anybody, I'm telling you, anybody who wants to come at me for this or back Fox News or IGN or anyone else, this is all I have to say about it.